My name is Mark Jester. I'm president of the Berkshire County League of Sportsmen located in Pittsfield, Massachusetts. The Berkshire County League of Sportsmen is an umbrella organization representing 20 regional clubs and just over 3,200 sportsmen and conservationists, all of whom have a vested interest in preserving our proud outdoor heritage and protecting Massachusetts' rich natural resources. The delegates of the league represent some of the most dedicated sportsmen and sportswomen in the country. People are willing to give their time, effort, resources to ensure that the fellow sportsmen and future generations will be able to enjoy the pursuits that we have all had the opportunity to enjoy. The Berkshire County League is considered one of the strongest, most effective, and united organizations in the state of Massachusetts. I'm here today to talk to you as their representative about the EPA's proposed Clean Air Act and the effects of carbon pollution on the Massachusetts habitat and wildlife. I've been hunting and fishing in Massachusetts for over 45 years. Both my father and my grandfather introduced me and my brothers and sisters to the outdoors as kids. My grandparents lived next door to the Lanesboro Town Brook when I was growing up, one of Berkshire County's best kept fishing spots up until this moment. Each spring, on opening day of fishing season, every kid that lived in Lanesboro would be lined up elbow to elbow trying to catch the biggest brook trout and rainbow trout that they could see from the narrow banks leading along to opening day. Each kid dreaming about catching the biggest fish in the stream so that they could proudly show it to their mom and dad afterwards. Today there's a mercury poisoning warning on that body of water, and any fish that's caught should be released back into that polluted water. In Massachusetts, there are 125 bodies of water that have mercury warnings on them. The fish that are caught in these lakes and ponds cannot be eaten, and effectively all have become unofficial catch and release areas. In these financially troubled times, many sportsmen are forced to provide their families dinner from these polluted waters. As a leader in the state's community of sporting, I'm often called upon by young parents asking about the waters in western Massachusetts. Are the fish that the kids catch, are they safe to eat? More times than not, I have to say no. My first hunting experience was going after rabbits with my grandfather and his tricolored beagle named Topper. It's one of the most favorite memories of all time. Hearing old Top, as my grandfather called him, bay as he chased the rabbits around and around the hedgerows of my uncle's farm. These experiences I have now passed down over the years to my children, fishing in the town brook, rabbit hunting with my own beagles, and now hopefully I'll be able to do the same with my 4 grandchildren, who are still too young to take out into the woods and the waters. But I have to say that I'm doubtful that I'll be able to do so if things don't change, and don't change soon. Sportsmen are on the front line of conservation every day and have been for well over 200 years. We are in the woods and the waters every single day of the year. We are the watchdogs and whistleblowers when it comes to protecting the environment. I'm here today to tell you there are some problems, big problems for our ecosystem, and the effects on wildlife are severe. I have a few examples. There are 2 species of cottontails in Massachusetts, the eastern cottontail and the New England cottontail. In June of 2004, U.S. Fish and Wildlife found that there was substantial need for protection of the New England cottontail under the U.S. Endangered Species Act, and they had initiated a review. In 2006, U.S. Fish and Wildlife determined that the federal listing was warranted, but passed them over due to other priorities for other species. However, the New England cottontail was given the highest priority in the Northeast and is in decline due to loss of favorable habitat. Habitat is being destroyed by a warming climate. We all know about the comeback of the striped bass, and that is in jeopardy. The striped bass is considered by sportsmen throughout as a highly wanted trophy, and it's regulated seasons and strict limits. Striped bass fishing is one of the largest growing sectors in the sportsman's ranks. As a fisherman, one of my favorite pastimes is fishing for stripers out on the Cape. They're one of the few big game fish that require a vastly different habitat. A warming climate leads to rising sea levels that destroy coastal marshes that serve as nurseries for these juvenile bass. Warmer waters have a cascade of ill effects on the fish. Stripers absorb toxic chemicals more quickly when water is at a higher temperature. And science has shown that the striped bass with higher loads of dioxins have a lower reproduction rate. Final example is waterfowl hunting, and it is a tradition that is as much of a tradition as it gets for sportsmen. You have a dog, a shotgun, and a fast-moving quarry. Black duck is the holy grail for the duck hunters. They're big, they're fast, and they're brawny. It has been identified as a susceptible species due to loss of breeding habitat associated with ever-increasing climate. Highest breeding densities are found in the Northeast. Black ducks utilize a variety of habitat breeding such as alkaline marshes, acid bogs, lakes, and streams, along with fresh brackish and saltwater marshes. Rising sea levels from warming climate spells disaster for this fragile species. 2006, 500,000 anglers and 70,000 hunters came to Massachusetts to hunt and fish in the lands and waters. Fishing and hunting are not just recreational pastimes, they're also a major contributor to the Massachusetts economy. Over 500,000 sportsmen and women generated more than $800 million in revenue in that year alone. However, this rich community of fish and game and the ecosystem that depends on it is at risk with a warming world. For Massachusetts sportsmen, healthy populations of wildlife are necessary to support our economy and our outdoor heritage. The EPA must be allowed.
Ask you to wrap up.
One second.
Thanks.
Thank you. The EPA must be allowed to carry out its legal obligation to control carbon pollution that causes climate change for our country's biggest polluters. I leave you with this quote from the former Republican Massachusetts Congressman Silvio Conti. It was delivered to a delegate back in 1984. The problem with preservation boils down to this: ducks can't vote, trees can't vote, neither can salmon, flowers, mountains, or rivers. It's incumbent upon us as sportsmen to take on this weighty responsibility to serve this as our greatest constituency. Thank you.
Thank you.